Good morning and welcome to Healthy Hearts and Guillotines. This is Chessie and I'm here with my compatriot,
Zakim.
Welcome back, our second audio-video episode. Now, this week, what are we doing this week, Zakim? When you presented me with this idea, I was like, how are we going to make that an episode? And then I started researching all the things that can be laid at the feet of this particular societal ill. And I just wrote a couple of pages of angry notes. Go ahead.
I also have a few sad, angry, depressing pages about a topic that will definitely earn us some flack.
Oh, we're going to catch it in the comments.
Yeah, but basically a society of individuals is a sign of illness and sickness.
A society... So... When you initially presented this to me, it was that individualism is a sign of sickness.
Mm-hmm.
And living in the sort of capitalist hell we do where everyone is in competition with everybody else.
Yeah.
And we're all meant to be crabs in a bucket pulling each other down while trying to climb to the top and be eaten first. This made a horrifying amount of sense, to be a thing that we would focus our energies on and our health and would affect our health every day. But when I really started to dig into the idea that things like the loneliness epidemic, you might have heard of that one.
Like 20 times per day?
Yeah. The loneliness epidemic, the manosphere of health influencers who are all trying to get men to treat women horribly, or I guess pickup artists, and then also like neoliberal economics where, that guy's getting help from the government. Better take it away from him because he doesn't deserve it enough. And, only I deserve help. And then also on top of that, the taxes are theft people.
Mm-hmm.
And the hyper-libertarians who are like, I just want to be left alone. I'd like to have roads, but I want to be left alone. Between all of these things, and at the center of all of them sits this idea of individualism. And it's like a cancer.
The thing is, it looks like a pretty cancer because see, I'm an individual. I make my own choices. I'm self-sufficient. And those two words, self-sufficient, is basically mean
I'm going to die alone.
Not just die alone. I'm just going to probably die within days of saying that and trying to do it because we survived purely because we banded together and we did things together. We specialized in things.
Yeah, the praxis of individualism is isolation and independence from the group, leading to being a very weak, very lonely, very hungry person. And the only people that I hear promoting this, generally speaking, are people who believe they're immune to the gravity of society, to the gravity of needing other people. They believe they're immune to loneliness. They believe they're immune to needing help. I've gone so far as to say they believe they're immune to old age. Because in the end, we're all becoming disabled. That's just what getting older is. You get to a certain age and you need somebody to help you.
And of course, the issue is we don't even need to get old at this point. All we need to do is be alone. And compared to being in a group, in a community, you're practically disabled.
You're getting to be disabled. You get to a point where you can't function.
I mean, isn't that what's happening with the youth these days?
The youth, the elderly, the middle-aged.
Okay, so everyone.
Everybody. If you have one of these little doom boxes, it's isolating you, not making you happy. Sorry.
I mean, it's true. A phone gives you so much opportunities to sell yourself as an individual. Everyone has an Instagram account. It's like, hey, look, see, this is me. This is my brand, my website, my e-shop, my merch.
What is important about me personally, it's It's a poisonous way to think.
And it is, but this is a symptom. It's a sign of sickness. It's not the reason for it.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the reason for it is because somebody could make money off of it.
Definitely. Because, I mean, how many things could you have sold to a Lithuanian grandma in 1950? It's like, not a lot.
No, I've met the Lithuanian grandma. She is a suspicious lady.
Not just suspicious. Back then, they were self-sufficient. They could feed their own pigs. They could grow what they needed to feed them. And the few things they needed to buy from like a store was really tiny compared to what we're doing right now.
And also probably made by someone in their communities.
Yeah, they could just probably go to the neighbor and be like, "Hey, oh, you got some?"
Yeah, you know, do you make clothing? Do you make shoes? Do you make the basics of life? You would have a doctor who was immediately in your community, and maybe you don't get the best healthcare imaginable. And don't get me wrong, I'm not being nostalgic for the Soviet era.
Oh no, please.
I know there's plenty of people who are like that, but there is a certain community in not being completely devoted to building your own personal brand, and also to admitting that you need people.
And admitting that is how you are strongest.
Yeah, how you are at your best is when you have others.
Because just from a, how should I say, neurological standpoint, there's a limited amount of skills we can learn and be very proficient at.
Yeah. I think what do they say? It's about 5 things you can ever be truly good at.
And imagine you trying to live all of your life by yourself.
You know, I can sharpen some excellent knives. If it came to cooking, I can make potatoes.
You can make a salad.
I can make a decent salad. I can't grow a decent salad. I can't grow potatoes.
And I suppose that is the issue. We forget that people are growing food. They are shipping food. They're taking care of it. They're stocking the freaking aisles.
Yeah.
And
they're printing the money that you use to go and buy the food. It's an integrated society.
But the issue is that we don't see the whole system. And we just think, okay, more money means better.
More money, automatically better.
Even though we can clearly see that it creates a terrible divide in more ways than one.
It creates a system of incentives that isolate people from one another. And what we've seen it do in the last, 100, 150 years all over the world is it creates this little tiny population of people who have lots of money and no human connections to anyone, and all their basic needs are provided for, but the money literally isolates them. And it isolates them in such a way as when you're a little kid and you have thoughts and feelings, the thoughts and feelings you eventually learn are different from reality. Mm-hmm. And then, hopefully you do. We obviously all know somebody for whom their thoughts and feelings automatically become reality for them. But little kids hopefully learn what they feel and what is real are not necessarily always the same thing. Mm-hmm. This group of people has so much money that they can afford to warp reality so that the things they feel are reality. And it makes them weird.
I'm an astronaut.
Yeah, I'm an astronaut now. I went up to space for 45 minutes. Or however long Elon Musk sat up there. I didn't care enough to check.
Wasn't that Jeff Bezos?
It was one of them. I'm just going to pay enough money that lots of other people will do all the work to get me up in the rocket. And then claim to be an astronaut, whichever one of them it was. That kind of isolation, it's not good for them either. Because it's warping how they see the world to the point that they start to see a deluded world. A world where reality and human suffering and all that stuff just doesn't matter. And they are capable of horrifying moral violations of the social contract. Whereas we down here, we can't afford to be individuals. we gotta treat each other with kindness. That being said, how do we live in a world that's being defined by individualism?
I'm sensing you want an answer. How do we cope and resist this type of society?
Yes. How do we, as humans, as individuals, but also as communities, fight off this impulse to say, I got mine, screw you?
Well, of course, to realize first that we need each other. That's the first step. The second step would be to realize that the system, in which I mean the capitalistic system that lots of rich people benefit from, rarely benefits us. And it's best if we, I would say, like, use it less.
I think it's also a good idea that we make an effort when we are community building to recognize that what we invest in our communities will also benefit us.
If you're part of, let's say, a house, and you help the house be stronger, safer, not leak the roof, it's like, hey, that roof doesn't leak on you. If you provide food to a community you're part of, that community is now better off to do the things they do.
Yes.
Like, you can be a community person, trying not to see yourself as someone so special they don't need to be part of a community. Not trying to motivate everyone to be some sort of celebrity.
That would be very helpful, because I know ever so many people whose dream is to become not just an influencer, but to become Mr. Beast.
To become famous.
As though fame was by itself valuable, instead of a contributor to communities. Because I've created communities before. I've done that. But also, in creating those communities, I was not the reason those communities existed. It was usually to a purpose. Influencer communities, individualized communities, are about a person. They're about a narcissistic impulse to be me, 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 me.
And where this comes from is the system neglects everyone, and only those who have enough narcissistic strength, if that's a term we can use.
I would say a strong enough narcissistic impulse.
Yes. Because we can all be narcissists, but we just like not have enough strength to go out there and be like, I'm gonna be number one.
I'm gonna be cruel enough to be the top narcissist.
Oh yes. The issue is the system. In this case, the system neglects people.
So that state of neglect is
The starting point.
the starting point.
And then of course people will be like, I'm neglected, but I'm so important, but I'm neglected. I gotta make myself go up in there.
So they created an identity out of being neglected. And
Well-
that's individualism?
Well, it's like a debt. They have a debt and they have to repay it. It's kind of like believing the world is fair. It's like, okay, I suffered this much in the past, so now I have to be this better in the future, or feel this better in the future, for it to even out.
So individualism is a philosophy of I got mine, screw you. And it also seems to be a lot of angry young men saying that they're not being taken care of by anyone else, and therefore, for some reason, they don't need anyone else and shouldn't be expected to treat anyone around them with kindness or respect.
It is an ego trauma and just pain in general. And in that point, people can't trust each other. And then you don't need to be, a specific gender to be Logan Paul. You can be Kim Kardashian, and it's the same fucking issue.
Yeah, it's individualism creating isolation, and Or maybe they're the same thing. Maybe individualism and isolation are the same thing.
It is pretty close because let's say you are part of a community, you will not have that level of isolation.
Okay.
And of course, to be part of a community, you have to identify with it, which is the opposite of individuality. It's like, I am part of a community. If you ask people who are they, the last thing they're going to say is like, oh, I'm part of this and this.
What are the benefits of fighting the individual impulse and becoming part of a community? And I know that seems like an obvious question. What are the benefits of community?
Well, you break the system that created such impulses and people to begin with. You're breaking the cycle. And maybe that sounds really utopian to some people. It's like, hey, you can break the system that created all this suffering. But at some point we have to realize that, yeah, that is what we need to work on right now.
Breaking that system, not just for our own individual benefit, but for the benefit of the whole of mankind.
And it is also to your benefit. Because imagine, you could choose to be living in a society where you do have these people around that are just trying to climb out of the bucket while tearing you down. Or you could not be in that society. You could be in a different one.
You could be in a society where people's needs are met and their value is understood in something besides purely economic terms. Because I don't want to live my whole life as a dollar amount, thanks.
Yes, people are worth more than just how much they can make. But that is what they've been reduced to by the system. And
by employment, by capital, by, let's face it, creating single metrics out of everything.
Single metrics will always be bad. Let's just remember that. But like we said, right now, if you look at the mental health state, it seems everyone needs a therapist.
Yes. Somebody that they can connect with and talk to and explain themselves to.
Sounds like something a normal person would have done in a community.
Yes.
So we're trying to plug the issues we're creating with this system with just more jobs.
I don't like that. Because okay, the most mentally healthy and happy that I've ever felt was after going camping with a group of 3 or 4 friends. I sit around the fire, have a couple of drinks, talk about things that genuinely don't matter, or go have a cry in the woods with my friend. That's the most mentally healthy I usually ever feel. Second to that, I feel pretty good after these podcasts.
Because you are connecting.
Yeah.
And well, I'm pretty sure you know of this meme, but when a guy needs therapy, he can either start a podcast or go to therapist.
Yeah.
It's a good thing we're doing both.
Oh, yeah. I like that. I have a larger group of people in my life that I can talk to about my emotional problems, but not... I don't think near as large as I would like, because I'd like a village. And in the US, before I left, I was starting to have a village because I had all the people at the farmers markets around me, and every time they had a problem, I'd be like, can I sharpen your knives and we'll sit and talk? And that, when I had problems, I could talk to them. When they had problems, they could talk to me. That felt like it was becoming a community, and then hopping up and running to Lithuania where I hardly speak the language. That felt very displacing.
It is very displacing. It took a lot of strength to be like, I created the thing that I need, and then I realized that it's a sinking ship. Like, just the whole country's a sinking ship, and I have to leave.
Yeah. So understanding that community building is probably the single most important thing you can do for your own health.
Both physical, mental, social, emotional.
I mean, all those things, because it's how you get good food, it's how you get housing, it's how you get social interaction, it's how you get romance, all those things. What are steps that people who've already either lost a community or never had one before can take to begin building a community for themselves? Something that is healthy and outside of the little doom box.
You might need to use the doom box, seeing as telling people, hey, you want to just go to a farmer's market, just like approach people, tell them what you do, tell them, what you can offer them. It's like, you got to give them a panic attack.
It's weird how true that is.
Like, you're probably the only person I know who does such things in a farmer's market.
Or out in public. You've watched me go into salons and be like, galando zirkles, and the woman behind the counter will frequently just go.
Because no one is used to it. Everyone seems to be so, isolated.
Yeah.
As individuals, because when you're isolated, that means no one's trying to take care of you, which means you have to fight for yourself, and it means you can't trust anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to begin trusting other people, which means a little bit. It's not like, hey, here's all my cash. Can you build me a house?
But vulnerability is a place to start.
You do need to be vulnerable in order to have a connection with your community, and if you don't have a connection with your community, it's just a fake. It's like a Discord group where you don't know anyone's name.
You don't know anybody's names. You don't share any interests. That's going to be a quiet Discord group.
Or just a meaningless one.
Yes.
So, yes. You need to build trust. You need to build connection, usually through vulnerability.
And I was to pursue mutual interests.
A community does need to have, as you've said, a purpose. Mm-hmm. You don't just build a community for itself.
And if the community is being built around one specific person, run the other direction.
It is natural that it might begin like that.
Mm-hmm.
That one person will be more influential than the rest.
Because that's what leadership is about.
It is. But don't, fall into a cult of YouTuber starts their own community, and then basically wherever the person goes, they follow them. Because then the community's purpose is to follow the leader instead of follow values, purpose,
mutual interest, mutual need,
mutual benefit.
Yeah. And that's a cult.
Yeah, it is probably a definition of a cult, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes.
What's a good first step there outside of the doom box? Like, give us something that we can do that is practical, meaningful. I'm always inclined to say go to a board game night, but that's me. I play too many board games.
That is true. Behind this wall, there's like 100 board games.
150.
I am.
Yep. Hi, I'm addicted to cardboard.
Painted cardboard.
Uh-huh.
So the first step is to find people that you share mutual interests with or have mutual needs.
So like a Facebook group, a Discord.
It could be that. You could even go to, you say, game board nights. I say libraries. I say public parks, public workout spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's going to be difficult, but if you want to do it online, you can do it online. If you can do it offline, talk to people. It's like, hey, you working out? I want to work out here too.
Can I come work out here in your space here? And we will have our personal space, but it'll be personal space together.
Yeah, I'm going to respect you. You're going to respect me. Hey, here's my name. I'm Jesse.
I'm Zakib.
See?
We're going to confuse a lot of people with that.
But that is how it used to happen. You weren't afraid of this person's next to me working out. I don't know them.
Are you saying the 90s massive campaign to create stranger danger in literally everyone might have succeeded in isolating us from everyone in our community?
I mean, that's more an American.
I'm going to point out a thing here. The Soviets convinced everyone that people who smile are dangerous.
See, the Soviets had a lot worse methods.
Yes. They convinced... that's the thing that you will hear a lot in the Baltic countries or places that are formally controlled by the Soviet Union, is that if you see somebody smiling too much, they must be an informant.
Yeah, it's more of an old belief. Nowadays, if you're smiling a little bit too much, maybe drugs. Maybe just drunk.
Could just be drunk. Yeah. That was the thing that when I first got here, I had to get used to not smiling at people on the street. Because people were just like...
They will do that, but I think smile.
Mm-hmm.
Screw it. Just smile at people. When I see someone smiling, it's like, okay, this person, not a threat. This person, probably more well-adjusted than the ones who have a frown on their face.
The perma scowl.
I'm Lithuanian. I never smile.
I do not have emotions besides ruthless criticism and silence. I don't know where that accent came from.
It's pretty good. So yes, I think we've covered how to begin and the fundamentals of a community.
Mm-hmm.
So just make a step. It's going to be difficult, but just take one step, then another one, and eventually you will have a community. Just remember that it's a learning experience.
And you're going to make mistakes.
And you don't have the best teachers. I'm sorry, we're not the best. But what I meant is you don't have generations of communities, which are basically lived forever since a village has started, and that's a community. There are sub-communities in that village, but still, that is one community.
Because, let's face it, if you're in Lithuania, the Soviets went out of their way to systematically disassemble communities and institutions wherever they occupied, other than the Soviet Union. And in the US, we've been doing that to make money!
And why did the Soviets do that?
Because if you create an environment where people don't trust each other, they can't create resistance against the powers that be.
Against their tyranny.
Yes.
So yeah, if you want to resist, evil people, be a part of a community.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're coming to the end here today, and I want to thank you, Zakim, and plug our website, healthyheartsandguillotines.com, as well as our Patreon, Healthy Hearts and Guillotines, as well as my compatriot's website, dalife.lt, where he will help you come up with plans for exercise, better living, healthy lifestyle, and just sort of generally making life easier. We all only really get one life. I'm lucky enough to have him in mine. Outside of that, is there anything else that you want to plug this week?
Communities. I want people to plug their communities.
I'm going to lay one on here that's important to me, which I recently discovered. Here in Lithuania, there is a regular gaming community that meets out of a business called Not Only Dragons. It's run by a lovely lady named Martina, and you can follow her on Instagram. If you're looking for a board gaming or Dungeons and Dragons community to go be part of for the first time, she's a great place to start. All right, well, thank you for being here and taking this time with us, and remember,
your health is in your hands.